So happy Friday, everybody. Thank you for jumping on. As you jump on and see this video, do me a favor, drop your location. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from. This is The Blank Spot. We are a Sublimation Blanks t-shirt transfer, adhesive, stickers, and vinyl, banner vinyl supplier located just outside of Columbia, South Carolina. It's going to take some practice getting that down. Second live for the day. We're going to be talking about sublimation transfers, sublimation in itself and sublimation transfers, specifically as it pertains to apparel. So you guys know we do carry all types of sublimation transfers that are ready to press. Okay. You can go to our website, which is theblankspot.com, and you'll be able to see that. If you are new to our platform, type a number 1 in the comments and let us know once again where you guys are tuning in from. You can go to our website, which is theblankspot.com, to see all of our ready to press and ready to ship sublimation transfers. We have transfers for coffee mugs. We have transfers for tumbler wraps, and we also have apparel. Okay, so you also are going to be able to create a gang sheet. We have, I think it's 5 different gang sheet types that you can choose from. And a gang sheet is basically where you're going to upload your image using our software, going to our website, using our software, uploading your image so you can actually go ahead and print. I have us print your images. Our largest gang sheet is a 44 by 60 inch gang sheet. So if you have oversized transfers that you want to get printed, we can do that for you. The title is, you don't need a printer to sublimate. You don't need a printer to sublimate it. So if you're out there saying, hey, you know what, I want to start in sublimation, you may be a part of all of these different crafting groups, and they're telling you, hey, go get your Eco Tank and convert it. Go get this 8550 and convert it. Go get a 2800 and convert it. Go get a Epson Workforce and convert it. All those are great options. Okay. Not saying that you can't do that. However, if your budget is not, if your budget is not in the place where you want it to be, and you want to start doing sublimation, you don't need a printer to sublimate. All you need is a heat press, some good fabric, some good shirts, and then you need some transfers. Okay, that's what you're gonna need. So we're gonna talk about a couple of things. We're gonna talk about sublimation in its entirety. Hey Pandora, how you doing? Sarge, thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it. We're gonna talk about sublimation in its entirety, and then we're gonna lead you right back to our website so you can make some purchases, because we do have some other things going on right now. So if you missed Tuesday, if you don't know, Tuesdays are the days that we have our $2 Tuesday celebration for sublimation. That means that you can get transfers for $2. When you order 1, you actually get 2. Okay, so if you order 1 image, you're actually getting two of those same images, and you got to order a minimum of 10. Well, the problem is some people don't have money to shop with us on Tuesdays. So we do have other options. We have sublimation bundles. Those sublimation bundles include teachers, nurses, coffee, faith-based, Black history, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day. We have mental health. We got all types of stuff. So you can get bundles. Okay, you can get bundles, and the bundles are going to be anywhere between 10 to 12 transfers on that bundle. And if you look real hard, you may see some gang sheets on there. Because the bundles, you're going to get those already cut. But you may see some sublimation gang sheets on there that we created as well, that you'll get them rolled up and you have to cut them yourself. But anyway, thank y'all for jumping on. I appreciate it. I'm super excited to talk about sublimation because we have our own sublimation paper. And some of y'all don't know that. If you are currently doing sublimation, you may have started with a very popular paper. Okay. Grand Rising, thanks for jumping on. You may have started with a very popular paper that most crafters talk about, and that's A-Sub paper. Okay, I got a couple of transfers right here that I'm going to talk about. One is printed on our paper, and one is printed on A-Sub paper. Okay, so A-Sub paper is a paper that's been around for a while. It's very popular in the crafting community. If you ask anybody who just started crafting and you ask them what type of paper they're using, most people are going to say, I use A-Sub paper. Okay. But if you are going to do business with a smaller business and you want to choose a better paper, because there are better papers than A-Sub, then just like any other thing that somebody's coming out with something better, then you have an opportunity to do so. Okay. So now here's the thing. There's a couple of things that you need to know about sublimation. And if you are a person that takes notes, you're going to get a couple of nuggets and you'll be able to you'll be able to get this thing down. So you also can go to our website once again, which is theblankspot.com. We have a blog. We have a blog that you can read on sublimation. Grand Rising, John. Thanks for jumping on. We have a sublimation blog that you can read. Education is going to be important when you're doing sublimation because so many people give up right before they actually get an opportunity to actually learn how to sublimate and all the great things that they can sublimate. But there's a blog, and the blog talks about the 7 different things about sublimation. Okay, 7 different things. I see you saying ghosting drives you crazy. You also said DTF drives you crazy. I'm not a fan of DTF, but every transfer has its purpose. So we will use DTF, but we don't provide it in store. But you say the ghosting drives you crazy. So let's talk about that. Ghosting is nothing more than not having enough pressure, or maybe not having your image taped down tightly so you can actually, sublimate it. Okay. Because remember, it is gassing out. The ink is gassing out. It's heated up. It's gassing out. It's transferring from the paper to whatever substrate you're using. And if you don't have it taped down, it's still gassing when you raise that heat press, so it can still shift. So that means it's still baking. Okay. It's still transferring. So that causes ghosting. Also not having enough pressure will make it seem like it ghosted, but it really didn't transfer. But there's 7 things that you want to consider when you think about sublimation. Okay. So one of those things is going to be what type of garment you're sublimating on. I'm not going to go in any particular order, but what type of garment you're sublimating on. We recommend that you use a white or a lighter color garment, preferably white. The reason why is because sublimation has no white ink. A lot of people don't know that. So they get discouraged or they're frustrated in the beginning because they're not educated. Also, we recommend that you use a high polyester count fabric. Sublimation ink does not like cotton. Doesn't do well with cotton. So if you're talking about a linen mix, a rayon, a silk, a satin, things like that, it will go great with sublimation. This is a 100% polyester fabric right here that I have on my shoulder. So we're going to be subbing on this. So your fabric or your substrate matters. That's one of the biggest things, because if you have 50% cotton, 50% sublimation, 50% cotton, 50% polyester, you're going to get what's called a vintage look. People are going to sell you on the idea that, you know what, you can use a cotton poly blend and you'll be fine. You can use as long as you use a 65%. If you want to get the most vibrant outcome, you're going to need the highest polyester count. White 100% polyester tape sometimes leave yellow coloring if the heat is too high. Well, I would say yes and I would say no, because 2 things can both be true at the same time. If you have a subpar tape, heat tape, because all heat tapes don't stain. We also sell heat tape. So I recommend you trying a different heat tape. That yellow heat tape, which what we have, it does not stain no matter what the temperature is. Okay. So a lot of times, once again, we get products from places like marketplaces like Amazon because it's easier to order. It's it's easier to order. It's faster. It's quicker. We trust the platform of Amazon, all that good stuff. So we do that, right? But if you're going to be doing this, whether you're going to be crafting for a minute or whether you're going to be doing it as a business, you want to have the best quality products. So that means that you may have to shop around. Hey, Felicia, what's going on? Out of Columbus, Georgia. You may have to shop around, okay? And that means that you may have to spend a little money. So that means if you have a particular brand of paper already, but you find out that the paper that you have is not a good quality paper, then you may want to consider switching papers. You may want to consider switching papers. Okay. So we're going to do a couple of things. I'm going to turn my heat press on right now. So we're talking about the shirts. Okay. The shirts, you want to have a high polyester count, and not just any polyester shirt, There's a lot of polyester shirts that are not great. Okay. Now, the other thing that matters is your printer. If you have a converted printer, you will not get the same colors as if you had an actual sublimation printer. No, I'm not hating. If you have a converted printer, cool beans, fine. But what I would tell you is this. I would encourage you or urge you to order a print from us. Order a print from us. And then if you have the ability, print the same print on your printer. And you'll see that not only are the initial colors going to come out differently, you see that? Not only are the initial colors going to come out differently, but when you go to press it, it's going to be different. Sublimation paper, the ink that's printed to the sublimation paper, it's not supposed to be vibrant. It's supposed to be dull. So when you see the actual sublimation print printing onto the paper and people say it's dull, that lets me know two things. Number one, obviously, they're ignorant, okay? And that's not a negative thing. Ignorance is the lack of knowledge of something, okay? So they're ignorant about sublimation prints. It's supposed to be dull until it goes through the process, the transformation process, okay? So you love your sawgrass? Great. We don't do sawgrass here. We have Epson, but our paper is compatible with sawgrass. It doesn't need a profile, okay? So your substrate matters. Your printer matters to get the right colors, because you hear people talking about, hey, what's the profile? Can I change this? Can I change that? So the other thing is the ink. Ink does matter. I hear a lot of people talking about different types of inks. We do have our own sublimation ink. Can't have our own paper without sublimation ink, okay? Sublimation ink our sublimation ink is formulated for desktop printers, Epson desktop printers. So if you guys are in the market, we have sublimation bundles. We have let me get this together. We have paper and ink sublimation bundles that are on our website, okay? So you would go to our website, theblankspot.com. You would go to you would probably type in paper. If you search paper, you'll be able to see where we have the bundles, the different bundles, okay? Everybody doesn't have a wide format printer, so we have sizes 8.5 by 11, 8.5 by 14, 11 by 17, 13 by 19. Then we have a couple of paper rolls as well, okay? So your substrate matters, your paper matters, your ink matters. All right, it does. Don't let anybody tell you that it doesn't, because it does. The other thing is, when you're doing your heat press, when you're using the heat press, your temperature does matter. Now, the young lady on here, I think it's Wifey 78. Wifey 78 said that her tape sometimes, or she's experienced tape leaving yellow stains when it's too hot. Well, here's the thing. Some sublimation papers, they require that you press at a hotter temperature. You should not have to press at 400 degrees on a shirt. 400 degrees is going to be reserved for things like ceramic, right? Those things have to soak in. Ceramic, those stone plates, things like that. That's where your higher temperatures come in. Even metals are not going to require 400 degrees. So when your paper, thank you. What's going on, man? Happy New Year. When your paper requires you to press 400 degrees, and also I said temperature. Now the time, 60 seconds, then you may want to start questioning. That's where your experience starts to come in, and you start to say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna do a little trial and error. Okay. Most people, when you're just getting started, like I say, you strapped for cash and you don't want to burn a lot of money up trying things out. So what I recommend you do, if you're going to get some poly shirts, wherever you decide to get them from, don't throw your shirts away when you make oopsies or mistakes. Instead, cut them, make two sides of the garment and use them for scraps. Use them for testers. That's going to help you out. Okay. And if you do have your own printer, test small things big enough for you to see, but not so big to where you just burn up that test sheet. All right. So we did the substrate. We talked about the paper. We said something about the ink. We said something about the temperature and the time. but also the pressure. The pressure is going to matter. All right. We did say something about the printer too. So the pressure matters. The pressure is going to matter. If you have too much pressure, you end up leaving those press marks, right? Whether it's tape or whether it's just the line of the image, right? Have y'all experienced that? Type a number 2 in the comments if you've experienced press marks. Day ones, I'm going somewhere. I promise you I'm going somewhere. When I first started doing sublimation, my wife taught me everything that she knew, and then I started learning things on my own. But I learned that sublimation has a temperament. It's very temperamental. It's a science. It's a science. And if you have too much pressure, yeah, you're going to sublimate. It's going to transfer. However, what's also going to happen is imagine somebody squeezing your hand so tight to where you lose the blood circulation in here, and then your hand gets real white. That's the same thing that's happening on your press. So if we start to try to associate things that we do normally or naturally, or things that happen to us, we'll understand why certain things happen with us when we're doing sublimation. You don't have to have heavy pressure. You have to have medium to moderate pressure, but it depends on what size substrate you have, how thick it is, because you may have to adjust. See, sublimation is not a one size fits all. And a lot of people get frustrated because they're saying, hey, well, why can't I just set it here? Why can't I just set it there? Why can't I just set the temperature? No. If you're sublimating on a fabric that's thin, you may want to let off the pressure, remove some of the pressure, relieve some of the pressure, and then you may want to press at a lower time. Okay? You don't need that higher time. I'm looking at the comments. So you cut a jagged edge around your image. That's a good idea too, Steve. Another issue is when you're printing on your printer. A lot of converted printers, you have to put a certain setting. So if you're printing at a setting that's putting out a lot of ink, then it's going to take your transfer a little while to dry. But while you're waiting for it to dry, little did you know that it's spewed out ink in different areas. So if you're printing from a regular desktop printer or a sublimation printer, depending on your setting, you may want to trim around the edges so you can remove that ink so it doesn't spill over to your substrate. Okay, that's a great thing, Steve, because a lot of people you can't see that ink, but it'll come out in speckles. Okay, come out in speckles. So I talked about the shirt, the paper, the ink, the printer, the temperature, the time, and the pressure. Those 7 things are going to make your sublimation project banging. All right. So if you're just jumping on, this is the Blank Spot. We are Sublimation Blanks and T-shirt transfer, also adhesive vinyl and banner supplier. Just getting into that. We're located just outside of Columbia, South Carolina. Today we're talking about sublimation. We have sublimation bundles. If you don't have a sublimation printer, you don't need one. Okay, you don't need one. You can order from us or companies like us who provide sublimation transfers. We have bundles. We have $2 Tuesdays where you can get nice deals. We also have gang sheets available where you can actually order your transfers and get as many of them that you want on a gang sheet. We'll print it for you and you can press it. Okay. So the gang sheet, we don't cut it up, but the bundles we do. I'm gonna show y'all a couple of bundles while this press is still heating up. Show y'all a couple of bundles. Now, when you see these bundles, don't be alarmed because, like I said, on the bundles, we are going to cut them. Okay, on the bundles, we are going to cut them. Now, you may not be able to see all of the bundle. That's 12 transfers. That's a coffee bundle. Okay, that's one. We're gonna move right along. If you're just coming in, if you have not done so, drop your location. If you're brand new and you haven't let me know, type a number 1 in the comments. This is a Retro Mom bundle. Retro Mom. It's got 10 transfers on it. Okay. This is for sublimation. If you guys don't know, is for sublimation. Sublimation requires polyester. The higher the polyester count, the better. This next transfer bundle is going to be for teachers. You may know a teacher. You may be a teacher. You may know some teachers that you want to sell some transfers to. That is 12 sublimation transfers. We cut that up and we send that to you. Okay. The bundles are for a great deal too. We have them priced great. We did bump up the price a tad bit, and that's because we are cutting them. So we had to account for our time. This is a faith-based. And if you guys can see, all of them are backwards. The only ones that's going to be flipped forward is Instagram, because I can't flip the screen. But they're all flipped backwards. Okay, this is a faith-based. 12 transfers. All right. And then, of course, we got some Black History. We got Valentine's Day. It's not too late to order for Valentine's Day. We got some Black History, though. That's going to be great. If you representing you can wear Black History all year long, guys. All right. And then the last one I'm going to show y'all is the Valentine's Day. I think, yeah. So we got St. Patrick's Day. So we're going to do St. Patrick's Day and Valentine's Day. Now, everything that I'm showing you is on our website. And all you got to do is go to the website and go to ready to press transfers or transfers, and you'll see them, okay? Or you can actually type what you're looking for. But don't be afraid to go to the website and check us out. You won't break our website, but we hope that you go there and crash it. All right, so this is Valentine's Day, guys, and you still got time for Valentine's Day. So those are the gang sheets that I'm not the gang sheets, excuse me, the bundles that we have. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video is for a couple of reasons. One, I'm looking for new customers. I'm also reminding the current customers that we are still in business. Okay, we're still here. We're still doing work. So if you're brand new and you haven't done so, once again, drop a number 1 in the comments. If you're new to sublimation, hopefully this information that I share with you is going to bring some value to you. Now, there are some old school people on here, some OGs that's been doing sublimation way before I was doing it. Sublimation's been around for a very long time. Okay. And a lot of people don't know that sublimation was around before screen printing. Not maybe the sublimating to fabrics, but the process of sublimation goes back to the 1600s. I do my research. And the idea about it is people have become more drawn to crafting things that they can do at home. So they made a lot of different options for you if you're crafting at home. And then a lot of people turn this option to a business. So what I got right now, I got this heat press set at 380 degrees. And I got my time set. Let me drop this time. I'm gonna drop this time to 50 seconds. Okay, 380 degrees for 50 seconds. Now, when we send our transfers to you, you're gonna have a pressing instruction card. Basically, it's a recommendation. It's gonna tell you, hey, 385, 55 seconds. But what I do is I kind of play with the different things to see how it actually subs. Now, some professionals will tell you to protect your heat press at all times. Okay. Now you see this Teflon on here. This Teflon is now on here to protect my heat press. This Teflon is on here because this is an old heat press. This Teflon is on here because when I was messing around with DTF, I put it down too far and the white powder got on there, and I never bothered to clean it off. So I just put some Teflon on it. But normally what you can do is you can either put Teflon on top, maybe butcher paper or something like that. Matter of fact, do me a favor. You have to go to the website, honey. Go to the website and you'll see what the Valentine's is for. This is the website, just in case you didn't know. Give me 1 second, guys. And if you type in Valentine's and sublimation, you will see the price. All right. So do me a favor while we got this interaction going on. Type a number 3 in the comments if you sublimate and you use butcher paper to protect your heat press. Where my number 3s at? You sublimate and you use butcher paper to protect your heat press. Or parchment paper. Where the number 3s? I sublimate and I use butcher or parchment paper to protect my heat press. Where my number 3s at? John said I used to. We got Be Joyful Teas and things. Okay. Pandora, nope. Maria. Okay, so now the next question is why? Why do you use butcher paper? Anybody want to type that in? I know you probably might be at work. You may be moving around. You may not be able to answer. But tell me, can anybody tell me why you currently use butcher paper? My heat press machine came with the cover over the pad. Do I supposed to leave it on or take it off? Over the pad, you can leave it on. It's not going to be a problem. You can leave it on. We got one right here. Our 16 by 24 has a pad on the bottom. Blowouts. Okay. So on the bottom is where you should be concerned for the butcher paper. But if you're using butcher paper to protect the top pallet of your heat press, you should be asking yourself why. I figured it was you, Beverly. So, Beverly, what paper are you using? As a matter of fact, everybody type in the comments what paper they're currently using. And I'm gonna share something with y'all. Most people either started off using this brand or they still use this brand. Or a brand similar, because they have a lot of different brands. John is using our paper. Anybody else want to share what type of paper they're using, what brand paper they're using? They're not going to come get you, I promise you. Okay. Okay, so now, if you're using that paper, Beverly, have you ever wondered why you have to use, have you ever wondered why you have to use a butcher paper or parchment paper? A. Miller, do you use butcher paper or parchment paper? Blowouts, and it isn't the top, and bottom protectors, same as the butcher. So no, it's not. So here's the thing. If I was doing a project or an order for somebody, if I was doing something for a customer or somebody other than myself, I would take this butcher paper and I would place it down here. That's what I would do. And the reason I would do that would be to protect two things. My substrate and this little rubber right here, especially if I had a transfer that overlapped. So if I had a large transfer that overlapped, I would probably put this right here. So let's say I didn't have this shirt. Let's say I was doing coasters. Are y'all with me? Or if I was doing a license tag, I put that license tag there, then my transfer should be bigger than my license tag, right? Right. So now when I sublimate license tag, then that means the excess image is going to go onto the gray pad. So I would have this paper down here. Are y'all tracking? Give me a thumbs up if you're tracking. Okay? So we're going to keep it moving. My wife put the thumbs up. So I think y'all understand what I'm saying. What I'm talking about is using butcher paper on top of the transfer. That's what I'm talking about. Why are you using butcher paper on top of the transfer? That's not a trick question. It's happened to you before. You're using butcher paper on top of the transfer because the type of paper that you use sublimates to the top of the heat press instead of just to the transfer itself. See, if you're using butcher paper, whoever you learned about sublimation from, whoever you learned about the products that you purchased from, they told you, hey, make sure you put a cover sheet, make sure you use butcher paper or parchment paper to protect the top of your heat press. Why do you have to protect the top of your heat press? Because your paper bleeds. Man, it's hard doing a live by yourself. I'm telling you, it is hard. I love the interaction. I appreciate y'all. Your paper bleeds. So we're going to pause for a minute. For everybody who thinks that they're buying a paper, and they're saving money by buying a inexpensive paper. I want you to understand, if you're buying a paper that's inexpensive, but you're still buying butcher paper, you got an extra cost. Gasses through the paper. It does. It's going backwards. If you're buying a paper that is inexpensive, it's popular, it's a name brand paper, it's a household crafting paper, but you still have to buy butcher paper because that paper bleeds, are you actually saving money? You may convince yourself, well, I need butcher paper anyway. That's true. You need butcher paper anyway, but why not use the butcher paper for the projects that you actually need? Not every time you do a project that you don't need. So how many people like saving money? I know I like saving money, right? I like to save money. But as a business owner, my first objective is not to save money. As a business owner, my first objective is to provide a quality product to a customer, because if we save money and we got a subpar product, what's going to happen is we're going to get drugged in the streets. We're going to get talked about. You here with me? You are, but you're not. Now I got it. I'm cool. It's just challenging doing lives by yourself, because, you know, it's like you don't have anybody to talk to bounce off of. But we working this thing. So I want y'all to understand something. If you're buying a paper that you say, hey, you know what, everybody's using it, it's a good paper, yada, 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 blah, 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 but you got to use butcher paper, you have to, or you're going to have some transfer, it's going to gas out through here, then are you actually saving money? Learn the product, then what you can save on later. Absolutely. The papers that a lot of people are using are not the best papers, is what I'm saying. I believe firmly, and I'm going to share with you right now, I'm going to show you that we have a better paper than the number one selling paper brand in North America. And I'm going to show you live, because we have our paper and we have their paper. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but we have our paper and we have the number one selling brand paper. Once again, got our paper and the number one brand selling paper. So what I'm going to do is, I got my butcher paper, because I know this paper bleeds. This paper going to bleed all over the place. I'm gonna probably have to do some first aid on that paper. Okay? Because I know it bleeds. But here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm not telling you what to order. I'm telling you only if you're interested in buying something better and saving some money at the same time, you can do that. You've been tricked. A lot of us have been duped into believing that just because something is popular is better. And that's not always the case. So, oh man, I'm not really worried about press marks right now. I'm not. All right. I'm worried about this thing sublimating really well. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put this on here and I'm going to lint roll it. Okay. Y'all getting a full service right now. And then afterwards, I want y'all to go to the website and do some business with us. All right. Now, why do we lint roll? Well, there could be dust on your shirt. There could be loose fibers on your shirt. And if you don't lint roll, what's going to happen is you're going to end up having what's called blue specks, because that sublimation ink is going to attract to anything that's on that shirt. So if you've experienced that before, that's what it is. You had a great sublimation image, but you had like little black lines in there. Those are polyester fibers that did not get properly taken off. So you always want to make sure you either lint roll your fabric substrates and also take a microfiber cloth or something like that to wipe down your substrate drinkware. Okay, y'all with me? I don't think y'all with me. I'm gonna give y'all a little chance, man, to like the video, to share the video. If you're over there on Tickety Talk, I need you to double tap. Over there on Instagram, you solo, but we together. And then on Facebook and YouTube, I need you guys to like and share the video. All right. If you're just not jumping on, I'm going to, John, say you with me? I'm going to sublimate both of these images at the same time. All right. It's going to be a little tricky, but I'm going to sublimate them at the same time. Now, the way that I'm going to sublimate them is I'm going to cut them in half. All right. Got to cut them in half so you guys can see, because I want to actually compare. So give me a second. I'm going to cut these in half. Hope y'all getting some value out of this. All right. So I cut them in half, y'all. And once again, if you're just jumping on, if you did not know, when you do print your sublimation image, it's not supposed to be vibrant on the paper. It's not. It is not supposed to be vibrant on the paper. So when you hear people say, well, you know, I printed my image out and it's not vibrant, it's not supposed to. Let the printer do the work. Okay. So I cut it in half. All right. So the P and the E, is our paper. The P and the E is our paper. Okay. And the D and the O is ASUB's paper. All right. So the P and the E, you get it. So now I've already lint rolled. Now I'm going to pre-press this for 3 to 5 seconds. Why are we pre-pressing? We're pre-pressing to get the moisture out. Okay. Pre-pressing to get the moisture out. Now, if you're not confident or if you're not comfortable that your heat press is clean, because a lot of y'all's heat presses are not clean if you've been using that paper, then you may want to take some butcher paper and throw over this after you've lint rolled it. Please don't press it before you lint roll it. Lint roll it first and then press it, because once you press it, those polyester fibers are in there and they're not coming out. All right, you just ruined a perfectly good substrate. So now, not worried about placement, but if you are placing this, you want to make sure that you go 3 to 4 fingers from the lower rim of the neck. All right. This video will be up and live on our YouTube channel. Okay. It's gonna be on our YouTube channel. So now, y'all probably gonna think I'm crazy right now. I'm gonna do both sides. All right. I'm gonna do both sides. I'm just gonna put this over everything. I'm gonna show you that our paper doesn't bleed. I can show you better than I can tell you. I put it over the whole thing. Now we're going 380 degrees for 50 seconds. While we're doing that, don't forget, go to the website, theblankspot.com, get your sublimation bundles, get your sublimation drinkware transfers, get your sublimation gang sheets. We are available and ready to ship to you. Whatever the occasion. If you got your own ideas, you got your own transfers, maybe you're doing some events, maybe you're doing some reunions, maybe you're doing some stuff for school, you can upload your own image and we can print that for you on one of our gang sheets. All right. Here's our paper. You're going to either get this. Matter of fact, you're going to get it like this. Gonna get it just like this. We got other paper back there, but we're gonna take that paper. We're gonna give out some samples. So if you are looking for samples, you're gonna have to hit us up. You're gonna have to either message us or type the word sample, okay? And we'll give you the link to where you can get a sample. Somebody said, "What's the transfer you did on the sweatshirt?" Brandy, I'm gonna answer your question because you're on here, but this is screen print, full color. Okay, you can't type in sample on TikTok. Y'all got to understand how these platforms work, y'all. You got to message me on TikTok or go to Facebook. You can go to Facebook or YouTube and type in sample, but you can't type sample on TikTok because what am I gonna do? What video am I gonna go back and refer to? I can't help you. All right, but when I'm talking about samples, I want you guys. We're giving away sample paper, blank paper. That means if you don't have a printer, there's no sense in you getting a sample. All right. If you don't have a printer, no sense in you getting a sample. Do you have sub paper in a roll? Yes. Go to our website, theblankspot.com. We have 8.5-inch rolls, 13-inch rolls, and 24-inch rolls. The 8.5-inch rolls and the 13-inch rolls are tacky, which means that they stick to your fabric when it heats up, so they can only be used for fabric. So tacky is only fabric, but the 24-inch rolls, they are fast dry. Okay. So let's see what we got. First thing I'm gonna show you. Can y'all see that? You should be able to see it because I can. That one side bled. You can see that one side bled. The other side didn't bleed. The other side didn't bleed. Our paper don't bleed. Yeah. Now, another thing that you're going to see with this paper, and I really wish I had better lighting, but another thing you're going to see with this paper. Yeah, we do have 24. You didn't know that? Yeah. We've always had 24-inch paper. Now, here's another thing that you're going to get. All right. I'm going to share something else with you. I want to bring this closely so you can see. Can you see how all that ink is gone? Can you see how you can press that again? We're going to do that again too. Our paper, the ink is transferred. The other paper is still on there. So I used to trip out when people would ask, can you press twice? I used to trip out. Now these two images were printed from the same printer, the exact same printer, the exact same settings. The PE is our color, is our paper. Do you see the color, the discoloration in the red? See the different coloration? The PE is the blank spot paper. This is what you guys have been getting. But if you don't know, you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. So somebody is standing on business telling you to buy this paper. As a matter of fact, you can see that it kind of pressed through on the back. You can see that it actually soaked through to the back. You see that? Y'all can see that it soaked through to the back. You see that? That paper going straight to the top palette. Now, I'm not saying all of the ink is off of our paper, but we're going to sub it again. We're going to sub it again. Because that's just what we do. We want you to see how much more ink comes off. So let me just pre-press a little bit. Hope you're getting some value out of this, man. Make sure y'all go to the site, check us out. Don't let this live be in vain. Man, I can see that good right there. I know y'all can see it too now because I can see it. I'm going to put it on the other side. That's what I'm going to do. Yep. So let's see how much more ink we can get off of here. Always press through. For me, that's why I need Teflon on top. So that's your paper bleeding. And contrary to popular belief, just because something is common, that doesn't make it normal. Did y'all get that? Just because it's a common occurrence, that doesn't make it normal or natural. Sublimation paper is not supposed to bleed. Because if it was, then every sublimation paper would bleed. And you see ours not bleeding. So what does that tell you? What type of deduction can you receive from that? What can you get from that? You thought it was supposed to do that? Yeah. I mean, that's what they would have you to believe. That's what they would have you to believe so you can keep on buying their paper. Remember, I turned it around. You can see it real good there. This is the second press because remember, it bled through. Remember, that's the second press. It bled through. This is the first press. That's the first press. It bled through, but that's the first press. This is the second press. So this is what you got. But yeah, well, that's what they would have you to believe, that you need butcher paper. You need butcher paper for their product, absolutely. And they would have you to believe that. So people ask, can you press it again? Yeah, you can. But that's what you end up with. It's not as much paper, there's not as much ink on our side, the PE. But you don't want to use these transfers but once, okay? You only want to use these once. But that just lets you know how much ink was left on that paper. Now, what I turn this off. What I have to offer you guys here today is three things actually. One, if you are currently using paper that requires butcher paper, then you may want to consider using the bleed-free sublimation paper. Okay, the bleed-free sublimation paper is available in 8.5 by 11, 11 by 8.5 by 14, 8.5 by 14, 11 by 17, and 13 by 19. Now we only have these boxes in the 8.5 by 11, but it's the same paper. Okay. You can read my wife's vision on the back. This is our brand. You can read her vision on the back about the paper. Okay. Yeah, it means you don't have good paper. That's one offer that we have. The other offer is we do sell our own brand of sublimation shirts. These are thick shirts that are not see-through. Okay. A lot of people are sublimating with sublimation shirts that are, you hold them up to the light, you can see through. There may be an A4 or C2, very, very light the silk weight or moisture wicking type shirts. Or you may be using a shirt like a Jiffy brand. Jiffy's not a bad shirt. Jersey brand. Jersey's not a bad shirt. That's what I started using when I first started doing sublimation and we first started doing our all over shirts. Jersey is a shirt that lays down really well, but it is a thin shirt. And depending on what you're doing, you may have to stick something inside of it. Some people stand by Jersey because they don't have their own shirts. I don't stand by Jersey. When I was using Jersey, that was the best shirt on the market. Now I think this is the best shirt on the market. Okay. So we got sublimation paper, sublimation shirts. We have the sublimation bundles. If you guys want to get the bundles, you get the sublimation bundles. And also we have sublimation ink that's formulated for Epson desktop printers. Okay. So yes, that means that you don't have good paper, but that's okay because you didn't know before, but now you know. See, but I have a whole. So here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say to you. First thing I'm going to ask you, Wifey 78, are you a business owner or are you a crafter? That's the first question I'm going to ask you. Because if you currently have a lot of your current paper that bleeds, I'm going to share something with you that's going to make sense. It's going to make sense. Okay, you're a crafter. So if you're a crafter and you have a crap load of that paper that bleeds, that means that you're probably saying, well, I'll try your paper after my paper runs out. But in the meantime, you're going to keep on having to use butcher paper. So you'll probably run out of butcher paper, or most likely, depending on where you're at, or parchment paper, before you run out of that crafting paper. and then you go have to buy some more butcher paper to finish using that crafting paper, which means you're not saving money. In the same sense, if you are a business owner and you have that paper that's bleeding and you have to use a cover every time, you definitely ain't saving money because you ain't saving time. It's an extra step and it's an extra process. It's extra money. That money can be going somewhere else. Well, thank you, Charlene. I appreciate it. Got to get them shirts. Them shirts are hot. I'm telling you. So this is the thing. If you're a business owner and you have that paper that bleeds, I'm not telling you not to use it. That's your choice. But once you see this, you cannot unsee it. And now you have to think about, I got to get my hands on the blank spot sublimation paper, that bleed-free sublimation paper, so I can do my own test, especially if I have my own printer. I want to see how this thing looks on the paper. I want to see the actual ink hit that paper. And I want to see the comparison because the ink release is phenomenal. That's another thing. We have a phenomenal ink release. So you got to ask yourself, am I really saving money if I continue to use my subpar supplies, or am I making a shift right now? And am I actually going to save money if I make the shift? Your choice. I'm not a salesperson, and I'm definitely not here to convince you to watch me. I'm not here to convince you to go to the website, and I'm not here to convince you to buy. However, if you want to get better sublimation projects, if you want your sublimation projects to pop, if you want it to be vibrant and bright, I just showed you what to do. So once again, this is our website, theblankspot.com. I'm not going to stay on here any more longer. What I need you guys to do is make sure you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe if you haven't done so. It is The Blank Spot. That's our YouTube channel, okay? Also, I want you to go to our Facebook. First, go to the YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when we go live. Go to our Facebook page, business page, which is also The Blank Spot, and go ahead and follow that page. And also hit us up on Instagram. We're trying to grow that one. But we want to provide an option for crafters and business owners that's going to be a better option. We cannot today outsell a product that millions or tens of millions of crafters are already using because we don't have the market or the marketing to get our product out there. But with your help, telling your friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that, hey, this is some better product. And I'm not spending as much money on it because I can actually save money because I don't have to buy all that butcher paper. With your help, we can get out there and we can change some lives. We can all save some money. We can all make some money and we can do better. So that's my challenge to you. The support, even if you decide not to shop with us, the support would be to share a video that you've seen, share a result that you've seen, tell somebody about us, and that helps to get us out there. Appreciate you guys for jumping on. I know y'all could have been anywhere else, but y'all decided to see what we had going on. Make sure you like the video once again, share the video. Hey, Rhonda, thanks for jumping on. And we're going to go ahead and take off. Once again, we are going to be offering you some free samples. If you want free sample sheets, all you have to do is, if you're on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, you can type free sample in the comments. If you're on TikTok, you're going to have to message me free sample, and I will give you the link so you can actually order your free sample. When I say free, it's free. We're shipping it at cost. We're giving you 2 free clean sheets. If you don't have a printer, don't get the samples because it's just you're taking something from somebody else. But it's going to be for people who have printers. I'll see everybody at the top because there's too many people struggling at the bottom. Peace.